In the north of ancient India, where Nepal is today, a figure emerged more than 2,500 years ago, one who would defy conventional understanding of wealth, power, and happiness. His name was Siddhartha Gautama, but he became known throughout the world by the name of Buddha. His tale starts when the nobleman Suddhodana, king of the Shakya clan, and his wife were attempting to have a male heir to succeed him, but were encountering obstacles. In a dream, Queen Maya was visited by a large white elephant with 6 ivories. The kingdom's priests indicated that this was a very hopeful sign that the sovereign was finally pregnant and that her son was destined to be a powerful leader. The queen gave birth to her son during a journey to the beautiful Lumbini garden, where she held on to the branches of a beautiful tree and brought her son into the world. The infant was extremely beautiful, and a glowing aura seemed to surround him, proving that he was certainly a special child. A wise sage known as Asita was summoned to meet the baby, and he burst into tears when he saw the child. When he was asked to explain why he was weeping, he said that it was because the prince was meant to attain the true liberation that the sage had been seeking all his life. However, the guru would be dead by the time Siddhartha reached his destiny, and so he would not have the opportunity to find the answers he had been looking for. Asita also explained to the king that the child would not be the heir he so desired to take his place on the throne when his time came. He would leave the palace in search of the truth. The small prince Siddhartha Gautama was raised entirely away from the outside world, as his father feared that the call of destiny would take his son away from his kingdom. When Siddhartha Gautama came of age, he was offered several young princesses to choose as his wife. He decided on Yasodhara, who was known for her beauty and virtue. The king gifted the couple 3 magnificent palaces, one perfect for the summer, another ready for the rainy monsoon season, and a winter palace. They were known as the Palaces of the 3 Pleasures, where the couple had all the material goods they needed for a joyful life. The couple were blessed with the birth of a healthy child named Rahula, and the king was overjoyed as his succession seemed assured. The king finally allowed his son to step outside the walls of his palace to see the kingdom that he would rule in the future. But the prince's route was carefully selected so that he would not encounter the world's misery. However, Prince Siddhartha Gautama had abandoned his luxurious way of life and started his journey of self-knowledge. His first step was to get rid of all the items that bound him to royalty. He shaved off his beautiful long hair, which he cherished so much, but which was nothing more than a symbol of vanity. Siddhartha also traded in his silk robes for simple garments, just like those of the people who lived in the forest. He was now alone, away from all the adulation of his wealthy court. Siddhartha Gautama had relinquished everything that bound him to his old way of life and set out across the world looking for those who could help him achieve his goal. Siddhartha Gautama learned the art of meditation from the master Alara Kalama and perfected the technique of the realm of nothingness, where the Buddha's mind could detach itself from material awareness and perceive only the infinite. However, even though he considered this lesson valuable, Siddhartha still thought it was not the answer he was looking for to find enlightenment. He then began to meditate with the master Udaka Ramaputta, who taught him new meditation techniques that improved his self-reflection. The young Gautama appreciated the lessons, but noted that, whilst useful, they were not enough. Siddhartha Gautama then set off for the king of Magadha, where ascetics gathered to practice together. Like Siddhartha, they had renounced the comforts of life and lived simply. When they observed the newcomer's commitment and the way he gave himself to his daily practices, the ascetics were certain that Siddhartha Gautama was the one to find enlightenment. Along with the ascetics, Siddhartha learned to transcend the suffering that his body felt due to pain and hunger. He came to fully master his body and senses, and nothing could disturb him. He hardly ate anything anymore, and so he became thinner and weaker. This period of Buddha's life became known as the 6-year fast. But Siddhartha noticed that his weakness was doing him more harm than good. It was keeping him from the path of wholeness, as even his reasoning was hampered. He would put an end to his fast by accepting an offering from a peasant woman. As a result, he was despised by the ascetics who thought he had given up on following the path they deemed righteous. Following the Great Fast, Siddhartha Gautama pondered and realized that all kinds of extremes are not beneficial and that he should choose the middle path, avoiding both indulgence and utter austerity. Siddhartha went on to believe that it was important to find balance both in spiritual practice and in life in general. After years of wandering and learning, Siddhartha stumbled across a beautiful fig tree. It became known as the Bodhi tree, and Siddhartha Gautama said that he would sit under its shade and would only stand up once he had found enlightenment. He made a cushion out of grass and foliage, then sat down with his face turned to the east. He took up his meditation, and the spirits of the world rejoiced, but the demons would not permit that ordinary mortal to break the chains that bound him to the material world. Mara, the demon of desire and deceit, emerged to divert Siddhartha from his goal. He tried to tempt Siddhartha in every way. Mara brought forth visions of beautiful women and attempted to distract Siddhartha with violent scenes, but neither the fear nor the desire elicited by Mara could distract Siddhartha Gautama. Then Mara dared Siddhartha to find someone who could bear witness in his favor, attesting to his right to enlightenment. That was when Siddhartha touched the ground with his hand, signaling that the earth itself was his witness. Then, on a full moon night, Siddhartha Gautama overcame ignorance and suffering after recalling his past lives, understanding the cycle of birth and death that happens according to karma, and ultimately grasping the Four Noble Truths, which are the path to ending suffering. At sunrise, Siddhartha Gautama at last attained enlightenment, becoming Buddha, the Enlightened One. He would arise from his meditation fully awake. Buddha had fully understood the nature of reality, the root cause of suffering, and the path to liberation. He remained under the tree for another 7 weeks, absorbing and contemplating the profundity of his experience. After attaining nirvana, Buddha chose to share his knowledge with the world and began to wander around spreading his teachings.